Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love Island USA Season 7, Episode 33.
I need you to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Walk us through this episode.
Clark and Taylor are gone.
Yes.
Nick and Olandria talk. Olandria is happy that Taylor found someone and she supports their genuine connection. Nick doesn't like that he lost a best friend, but the purpose was to find a relationship and Taylor completed that. Nick feels good to be supported by America.
I don't know if he is supported by America per se, but there's a hive. And y'all
Of
are
Americans.
Y'all listen, this is an international show. It don't have to be Americans, but there's a hive, and y'all support arranged marriages because this is basically what this is. You get what I'm saying? But you know, whoever it pleases, I guess.
So Ace is sad to see Taylor go. He actually expected him and Shelly to be on the chopping block. This gave Shelly reassurance, and she's been in her head since the ranking. Now she knows America sees what she sees in her couple, and it means a lot to her. Ace was going to go down with her regardless, and they end up kissing.
Yeah, Shelly, we can tell that you was in your head a lot, and hopefully that bring you some peace. But like Ace said, look, y'all know each other better than what we see. You get what I'm saying? So hopefully this just make y'all stronger. And because this is our only real genuine couple left on the show. So hopefully, you know, they can make it all the way through to the end and win actually a season.
Yeah. So Huda's talking to Chris. She's sad because Taylor was her best guy friend and talked her through a lot of her issues. Huda left the conversation with Chris because she didn't want to talk in circles. In her mind, they just kiss in private areas and it's more intimate. Just because it's not in front of everyone, it doesn't mean it's less valuable. And she tells him that she's not ashamed of him. She's just trying to move slower than how she did in her last couple when it came to kissing in public. So she wants to hear Chris's thoughts, and Chris tells her that he has no thoughts. He felt disrespected when she walked off. And Huda says, if you don't want to pursue this, that's fine. Like, we can just end this. And he tells her that you're so quick to end things. You know, we can work on things. And it doesn't make sense to him, and it just won't make sense to him. She ends up walking away because there's not much more that they're going to be saying. And Chris just talks to himself and says her priorities are effed up. She wants to have sex, but she doesn't want to kiss.
I mean, you talking a lot to like yourself. The person just walked away, Chris.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts, Blair?
Yeah. I'm glad that they revisited the conversation. I wish that Chris could use this information and make different choices for himself because Huda doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And he knows she doesn't make sense. And you want to be in a relationship with somebody who like creates these types of things in their head to make it seem like she's moving differently or seem like she's changing when in behind closed doors she's throwing the punani at you. So it's just like she's wanting to appear one way in front of everybody else but wants to actually do what she wants to do in private, and it doesn't feel to me that she's trying to move differently. She wants to appear that she's moving differently. And also I think that part of me thinks that because Huda doesn't make sense, that she might actually believe that she's moving differently by not doing things in public. Yeah. And I say for that, you can't talk to somebody like that. She's already convinced herself of something crazy. Yeah. If you ask me.
Pretty much. That's what I think. I'm going to title this episode "Role Reversal," the switching of roles, because this just sounds very interesting coming from a guy. Right? Basically, hey, you're having sex with me in private, but in public, you don't want to show me off. You don't want to show me no PDA. And I wonder, I do not doubt that Huda understands Chris' argument. She's just not going to give in. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, which we normally hear it from women and things like that, like, hey, how come you only hanging out with me at night? How come you don't show me off? How come I never met your family? These are things that I've heard women say in relationships more than I ever heard a man say. That's why I find it very interesting for Chris to be in this position or allow himself to be in this position. Huda understands his point. I understand that some people feel like, hey, maybe she's moving differently, or maybe she don't want to kiss in public, or maybe she looked around because, you know, she had this whole thing back and forth with the villa with her and Shelly, and Shelly didn't talk to her for 2 days and 3 days, and she wanted to basically make it seem like she's moving differently, or that she's thinking of basically everybody else while she's exploring the person that she's with. And I'm just like, and that's the thing about it, Huda. Like, you're doing things for show. And if you're doing things differently as she says she is, you wouldn't have had sex with Chris in the first place. The thing that complicates all of this is that y'all having sex. Literally a foot or two away from the person next to you. So I would say, hey, Chris, she's not going to change what she's saying. So now the ball is in your court on what you're going to do, because you basically saying the same thing 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And she's basically saying, hey, I understand you want this, you want that, but I would think that, actually us having sex at night is more intimate than actually just a kiss in public. Like, Huda, you can't be that dumb. Like, you can't be that dumb, because on the other end, she's in the episode talking about throughout the day, I need more compliments.
I'm like, how are you going to ask me for something when you can't even give
a kiss
in public? Like, why are you asking for things? Like, stick with your boundaries.
Yes. And then on top of that, this is not your time to ask. I'm the one that actually have the problem.
Yeah.
So how am I the one that have a problem with you, but yet you are basically saying, oh yeah, this one thing you're not very good at. That's selfish. And
she's not good at making sense.
No, and I would say, Chris, stop saying things under your breath. Stop talking to us about it and actually talk to her about it.
Yeah. So Huda is telling Brian that she doesn't want to get hurt and repeat past mistakes.
Yeah.
Ace and Chris end up talking, and Chris says they just can't come to an understanding, and it's a red flag for him. Like, you're sleeping with me in the bedroom right next to other people. And Ace says, Chris' feelings are valid. Just see it through. Find a happy medium with your boundaries and her boundaries. But that's the thing. There are no boundaries. There are no boundaries. She's doing everything when she thinks it's private, but everybody can hear her hunching and kissing and smacking. So it's not real boundaries.
Do you think Chris should stop having sex with her?
Yes.
If you have a true problem with her in that area,
stop
of PDA?
All the physicality.
Me
just
too.
Stop it all. Like, if this is something that you feel like you can't do in public, then we don't need to be doing this in private. Let's wait till you actually feel comfortable doing this in all areas with me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I only see it for two. See, this is the thing that confused me, because we know we're at the end. We know that there's no bombshells coming in no more. So I'm very confused by Chris. I'm like, dude, you really like Huda? And like, not really questioning it, but kind of like surprised by it. Because I'm like, the easy thing to do is to just accept whatever Huda's doing and just win the prize. Dude, you get what I'm saying? Like, Huda got a hive behind her, or else she wouldn't be here this long. So I would think that, okay, she's not kissing you in public, but Chris, the only reason why you're here is because you're attached to Huda. If it was me, I would just be quiet and just keep smashing privately and things like that and win the money. But I find it very interesting that he's like falling for her, and this is like a real concern for him.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised by that.
So it's bedtime. Huda says that she's doing things privately with Chris. And Amaya gets where he's coming from, because she wouldn't want a guy to only kiss her in bed and not in public.
Exactly.
And the thing is, like, people talk to Huda, but Huda doesn't hear them.
Here's the thing. I don't give excuses to adults. I think Huda understands perfectly, right? But Huda is selfish, or she just don't like Chris like that. Like, I think when it comes to sex, there is a such thing as, like, you know what, even though you're having sex with me, it's kind of for me. So that's why I'm like, Chris, if she is going to basically play this game with you, cut off all physicality then. Like, that's what I'm like, Chris, you have some control in this relationship too. You don't have to pout and basically be, mad about it. Just make changes. Be like, you know what? I feel like since you want to move differently, I support that too. And I think we should pull back on physicality in this relationship.
Yeah. So Ace woke up the villa this morning instead of Amaya.
Thank you.
I was wondering what you would think about that.
I'm just tired of hearing Amaya's voice. Okay.
And Huda still gets her breakfast from Chris.
Yes.
Ace and Shelly are chilling. Nick ends up stealing Ace and to have their, guy conversation. He brings the ghost of Taylor out for their talk a little bit, and we have a good laugh about that. But Nick says that he woke up to some cuddles from Olandria, which was nice, and he knows that it's more than friends, and the flame is slowly growing. Ace wants to be exclusive with Shelly, but he doesn't know what life would be like outside the villa. He doesn't want to say he wants to make her his girlfriend in here just because of just all of the unknowns, but he's moving at his own pace, and it's worked for him so far.
Do you have anything to add to this conversation right here?
Nothing more to add, really. I think that I have to get off the Nick and Olandria high
Oh
train.
my God.
I'm sorry, y'all. And I think it's really because we're coming down to the wire. And it's not that I don't believe in their connection, but I think that where we're at, they're not going to move quick enough to what I want to see. And what I want to see is what happened at the end of this episode when it comes to expressing your love and care and admiration for the person that you're with. And that's not going to happen anytime soon, if ever. Olandria. And I get it. Look, like they're like warming up to each other. They're trying to find that romantic connection. Yeah. But like I love the expression of love, and it's just hard for me to feel the connection on screen, but for it not to be expressed, I just can't get behind it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's play a little game, right?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes, right? So this episode is called Role Reversal, right? And as you saw in the previous scene, Chris is the one that got the problem with, you don't show me off enough, right? When you see basically Nick over here talking and expressing himself about Olandria, who do that remind you of? If it reminds you of anybody.
Maya?
It reminds me of Sierra and Nick.
Oh, okay.
It reminds me, you know who Nick sounds like? Sierra. And basically Olandria is basically like, right? And y'all thought, hey, there's no way Nick likes Sierra because of the way that Nick just basically go along to get along. That's how I feel like when I'm looking at Olandria and Nick. I feel like Nick is over here saying every morning we getting closer. I got cuddles. I felt her booty on me and things like that. We are definitely more than friends, right? We more than friends, right? Right? And then that's when Olandria is like, oh, he's okay. I like Nick. We always go get down to challenges. It's like, it just feels like everybody switched their roles. And now Nick is actually Sierra and Olandria is Nick. And now I can definitely see and definitely say that Olandria don't like Nick like that. I think she's comfortable in the sense of like he's friend, like we're friends. We are, he is attractive, but at the end of the day, like I'm a slow burn. And if you are a slow burn, if she was a slow burn with Taylor, being with Nick is not going to expedite that any faster, especially with this amount of time left. And
I will say when she was talking to the girls, and I think it was like around bedtime and stuff, she was saying something along the lines of like this kind of like friendship to lover story. Like I guess it was supposed to be this way and stuff like that. And I think the more that I hear her say it, the more I feel like she's trying to convince herself.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not so much of a, oh, yeah, like we're really a friend to lover story. This is amazing. It's maybe I guess it's supposed to be like this. And it's just like, but what do you feel? Like, what do you think?
She liked Taylor. She liked Taylor, and Taylor is with somebody else.
So we moved to Amaya, Shelly, and Olandria talking. Amaya is feeling good with Brian. Shelly is dodging bugs. Huda ends up grabbing Amaya for a chat, and Huda doesn't know where to fix things with Chris. She's trying to show him affection. She touches him. She sits on him, but she just needs more from him for her to get there.
What?
I thought it was a boundary of yours. I didn't know that he had to put money into the slot in order to get a kiss from Huda in public. Now it's becoming a thing of transaction. What? I'm tired of talking about this girl, honestly.
Wow. Okay.
Well, Chris still likes Huda, but what she's doing doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Huda likes words of affirmation and acts of service. He does do the acts of service, but the affirmation is what gives her, the flutters, the butterflies. Amaya tells her basically, you need to talk to him about that.
Oh, you like praise. Oh, you want to be an idol to somebody. You want people to bow down at the throne of Huda, basically. Because at the end of the day, you over here talking to Amaya, basically saying, I don't know how to fix this. He literally told you what the problem was. The problem is very direct. You don't kiss me in public. When you try to kiss me or before you're about to kiss me, if you kiss me in public, you look around to see is the cops watching. And my thing is, hey, you know how to fix that? Kiss him in public. But now you making it a whole, well, at first it was, I'm trying to move differently. Now you're moving the goalpost to something that's not obtainable, right? To where it's like, oh, in order for you to get what you want, you have to give me more of what I want.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about it, right, Chris? Rather two ways to define this. It's rather Huda's always going to move this way because you know what? Every person she's been with, they had to bow down at the throne of Huda and things of that nature. Or number two, she just don't like you like that. And now you're on a tightrope to where you really can't make no mistakes. You have to overpraise. You have to overserve. You have to overcompliment. Just simple things. Huda haven't done anything with Chris that deserves a compliment.
And my thing is with Huda, it's like, if you like the guy, you're attracted to the guy, you're just going to want to kiss the guy. So what is all of this exchange that needs to happen before you give him a kiss?
Exactly.
It's just, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It gives off as if she's the pimp and he's basically working for her. Basically like, you know what, fall in line and this is what you're supposed to do. And my thing is, Chris, I got to give some blame to Chris. Chris was the one that said, hey, I have a habit of attracting toxic women, right? Okay, cool. Chris, how are you acting as bait to attract these type of women and things like that? I don't attract toxic women. You get what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, Chris, are you the type to where, it's all fun and games, you kind of keep it to yourself, you kind of let them run over you, you kind of, fall in line, and then all of a sudden you get upset, and then you get in a big argument, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't know why I keep attracting these toxic women. Well, because every time that you have a problem, it takes you a while to actually speak up.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
So they get a text and it's time for a challenge. Viva Las Villa.
Yeah.
They slide down a pole, hop on a boogie board, do a spinning bar, transfer cocktail mix from their cup to their partners, and then slide into the pool of passion for a kiss.
Okay.
Huda showed off her stripper moves. Nick and Olandria, this was their first kiss since Soul Ties. It was hot and steamy, and Nick went in for seconds.
Okay.
Anything to say about the challenge?
I feel like it was just a challenge, just to, like now it's the last days. They just trying to keep them active. I don't think now we're to the point where challenges don't mean anything to this point. Everybody's with everybody that they are going to be with. We're not seeing no switching of the couples at all. It would have been I know it would have been hard to, but it would have been impossible for Huda to do too much because she was with the person that she's with. So that's why I'm like, it basically just a challenge.
Yeah, and I feel like they need that sometimes, like a little palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need every challenge to bring up drama, but it's great when it does.
Yeah.
But for this point, let's just let the folks have fun.
Exactly.
So it's nighttime. Nick and Ace end up talking again. Nick sees Olandria is flirting with him. He's flirting back, and it's fun. He's feeling it. And it's like he feels like a teenager. Ace says that that's what love is supposed to feel like. Now, Shelly and Olandria are chatting, and Olandria knows that she and Nick will have a time and a challenge. They're always going to have a good time. She feels like they're growing their connection, and she does want to try kissing outside of a challenge again. She feels like they wrote things off too quickly before. Olandria says that Nick reassures her in ways that she wasn't before, and she feels different in this connection.
Was this the conversation that made you get off the hive?
Not necessarily. I think what kind of made me get off of it was, how do I say it?
Say it plain.
I just don't think Olandria is sure.
Okay.
And I don't think she has to be sure because you are dating, but when it comes to this experience and where we are, this just isn't what I want to see at this point.
Yeah.
I want to see people who are really into each other and really enjoying each other. And I know that she's saying that, she likes that he reassures her and that she feels it's a different connection. I would like her to say these things to Nick. I feel like saying these things directly to him could actually grow their connection.
You think
I feel
so?
like in their conversations, like, she just holds back on praise, compliments. You know what I'm saying? Like, and maybe, I was going to say maybe editing, but I really don't think it's happening. Like, Nick sits there and tells her all these great things, and she seems to absorb and accept it, and, says, well, me too. And, I think you're great and stuff like that. But I mean, really tell him how you feel, unless she's not sure about it.
Kind of like the whole Nick and Sierra relationship.
You could say that.
Yeah, like, and nobody believed that Nick liked her. So here's the thing about it, right? Even when I hear Nick talk, I feel like he's trying to hold on to something like solid to even convince himself. Because let's say if he's not getting all these things from Olandria, right? I feel like he's like, okay, I'm not getting these words, but like, we're definitely more than friends, right? Because we kiss.
Yeah.
We're definitely more than friends because we hold hands, right? Like, it feels like he's kind of talking himself out of getting mixed signals. And he's trying to think positive more than think the reality of things, right? I think what Olandria sounds like, even though you want her to say these things to Nick, these things that she's saying about Nick to everyone else, these are not things that you say to someone that you like. it sounds different, and what you say is very different when there is attraction there amongst both parties. This is what you say when you kind of want to turn down somebody but do it in a nice way. So what Olandria is saying, even though when she says, like, he keeps reassuring me, he keeps doing all these things, those are factual actuals that she's saying.
So it's things like, well, this is why I should like him.
Yeah, exactly. So besides, it's nothing that is personal or tailored to her, to where it's like, this is how he makes me feel. It's just things that he's doing. It's like, oh yeah, like Nick's a cool guy. We friends, and this is our friend to lover story, and he reassures me and he look out for me. But that doesn't tell me at all, not even a little bit, of how you feel at all. It's just telling me, you're just basically telling me what he's doing. So that's why I'm like, even when she's talking to Shelly here, it sounds like, yeah, he's a nice guy, but I just don't like him like that.
Yeah, Pepe and Iris, they're enjoying each other.
Yeah, sorry.
Olandria and Nick end up talking in the speakeasy. She tells him that she does like him. He makes her laugh all the time, and the kissing and the cuddling feels natural to her.
Okay.
Nick likes their friendship and their physical connection, and he ends up kissing her hands. They go to the photo booth, and they have their kiss outside the challenge in the photo booth.
Even the kiss in the photo booth and her putting his hands on her boobs, it just didn't feel real to me.
Yeah.
It felt like...
And maybe it's the slow burn of it all. I feel like, we're a little too far for slow burning.
No, facts.
Yeah.
I just think it's just, now it's to the point where, let me know, people, right? The people, right? Do you know, let's say you are I'm talking to the women, right? And let's say you had your time of actually dating these bad guys, but there's always been that one friend, that one guy that always been going after you and things like that. Not like a Steve Urkel going after Laura type of thing, but kind of like, you know what? He's always been there. He always been in the background and things of that nature. He just been always respectful. He's not no creep. He just always been respectful, right? That kind of what it seems like with Nick and Olandria. It feels like all of Olandria friends, all of Nick friends is trying to basically put them together. Like, you know what? Nick always been there. Nick always been a good friend and things like that. And with Olandria, she's like, I supposed to like Nick because with the other guys, they've been trash. Me personally, I don't think Nick is much better, but that's the feeling that I get when I watch them. It's like, you can kind of see it in Olandria's aura. It's like, I'm supposed to because he's a good guy. Everybody's telling me he's a good guy. He's doing good guy things.
And I do like him.
Yes. And it's kind of like the Jalen and Olandria thing. Jalen's a nice guy. I'm supposed to like him, but I just don't. And it just is what it is.
So Amaya and Brian chat. She thinks that Chris and Huda could have great potential, and they both think that their issues could easily be fixed. So Amaya comes up with a plan to get Huda and Chris to meet up at the dock tonight.
Yeah.
So Brian grabs Chris to go to the dock. He runs off to the bathroom, and Amaya does a little bit of extra maneuvering because Huda wants to be in the bathroom with Amaya washing her hands. And Amaya has to tell her, girl, go to the dock. So Huda and Chris are successfully at the dock. She was cold. He gave her his jacket, and they end up catching Amaya and Brian hiding, and they realize they want us to talk.
Yeah.
He's trying to understand where she's coming from. He doesn't get it, but he's willing to move forward, basically not having understanding.
Yeah.
Huda says that, just the private kissing, is it just not enough? Like, it's just more serious kissing in front of people. And he tells her, you're basically repeating yourself.
Yeah, you said the same thing yesterday.
And saying it again isn't going to make me agree with it or understand it even better. I hear what you're saying. And he knows it's not going to change. So Huda asks if it's a deal breaker. I feel like deja vu. Like we had this conversation.
Literally yesterday.
I feel like, oh my goodness. So Chris says that if it's a deal breaker, he would have ended things. It's all about how you approach things. So Huda asked him, I would like you to acknowledge me more in the mornings. She does like a lot of attention from her person, and he's cool with that.
I know you having Huda fatigue. So what is your thoughts, Blair?
Yeah, I said to you, I wish she would just stop talking.
Yeah.
Like
period.
The rest of the time that we're watching this show, because it's actually irritating.
Yeah.
Her train of thought is irritating. How she goes about these conversations, the fact that she's asking for more, and not willing to budge or give or compromise in any type of way. She doesn't want a relationship. Like you said, she wants somebody to...
A slave. A love slave.
Yeah, she wants somebody to bow to her throne, to worship her, and to give her all of the attention she so desperately seeks. And I'm over it. I'm really over it.
Amaya, the problem wasn't that they wasn't talking. They just don't agree with what they talking about.
Yeah.
So getting them to talk is not an accomplishment because you made Chris have the same conversation with the same person who won't budge. So I will say, Blair, that Chris has enough information. He has enough information about Huda. Like, he's been with her long enough to where he knows about Huda. He watched the show to where he knows her patterns and things of that nature. So now I'm not even putting the blame on Huda no more. Chris, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
This whole thing of, like, basically he's frustrated in the conversation because she's not budging. She's not compromising. I find it very interesting that actually Huda was the one talking about how do we come to a compromise where the whole time you're giving him more things to do. But, you know, that's besides the point. But you see she's not going to compromise. She's not budging, right? And then when she asks you, is it a deal breaker at the fire pit, you get frustrated saying, like, why everything gotta be a deal breaker? Why everything always gotta come to the end? Like, because obviously it bothers you, right?
Yeah.
And then she asks you, is it a deal breaker here again? And you're basically like, no, it's not. You know, it's just how it is, blah, 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 all that bull crap that you're saying. If that's the case, if it's not a deal breaker, if what you feel, Chris, your feelings, is not a deal breaker in a relationship, then guess what? I need you to stand up straight, you know, put out your chest, and stop moping around then. You get what I'm saying? Because when asked directly, because I'm not giving Chris no bail out of jail for this, when asked directly by someone that we see visibly have a problem with, he's putting his feelings to the back.
Yeah.
So now, guess what? Since you don't have a problem with it, since this is not a deal breaker, compliment me more. And guess what? That's what Chris deserves. He deserves to be a sucker. And suckers deserve to be what, Blair?
Licked.
Come on now.
And I will say, Chris, and the thing is, I get these people are in their 20s. I think that there's a lot of room for folks to grow and to mature. And I think that Chris needs to learn how to speak up for himself and actually stick on what's a boundary and a deal breaker. Because clearly, this woman drains the life of you.
Yeah.
So I really don't know what you're holding on to.
This what I don't understand. Chris would have been the hero of this season. Because he gave that big speech, that big, you know, where he's like the big, you know, he's the big man. I don't need Love Island. I should be playing basketball over in Europe right now. I don't need to be here, right? The big thing would have been, oh, it is a deal breaker for me. Can you do that?
Pack my bags, y'all.
I'm gone. like.
Send the car.
Send the car. And guess what? Huda would have been single, and then she would have gone.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, Chris, if you're going to keep complaining about this, and when asked directly twice, is it a deal breaker? And you're like, no, basically, then guess what? Shut up, move on, and basically stay in your relationship.
And start acknowledging her in the mornings more.
I forgot that part.
Exactly. And give her 2 pancakes.
Compliments.
And a flower.
Yes.
And don't let them be undercooked. So get to working on that list.
And maybe, I might even return a compliment to you.
Yeah. So Ace and Shelly are talking. He's expressing to her how much he likes her when they get a text that the Hideaway is open. And everyone thinks that Ace and Shelly should go to the Hideaway. Iris and Pepe, y'all was in the corner somewhere. We really wasn't thinking about y'all.
Man, Iris said she wanted to go to the Hideaway. That already let you know what type of time Iris on. Iris wanted to put her mouth somewhere.
Okay.
Iris wanted to put her mouth somewhere because she was like, wait, hold on. Y'all voted without us. I thought it gotta be unanimous for unanimous rather. I thought it gotta be unanimous. It's not unanimous. Okay, never mind. Okay, Shelly, you go.
So they get into the Hideaway. While she's changing into her bathing suit, he draws a heart with their initials in the center. He surprises her with the heart, and he reads her what he wrote for her, just basically expressing his feelings for her.
Yeah.
He asked her to be exclusive, and she says yes. And this is what sealed the deal for me. I felt the love. And I love in my Love Island, and I love the winners to actually be feeling each other and can see something outside of here with each other. So that's why I'm locked in.
I did like the poem. I like how he was rhyming and things like that. Did I feel it? I felt it more than I felt it more this time than I felt it throughout the whole season, right? I think she's falling for him. And I think she don't want to. because I think she's using this as a testing ground. Because it's one thing to be like, hey, we're going to be exclusive outside the villa to actually, test our real relationship. But I think the more and more they are stuck in that villa, she's falling for him and she's trying to put the brakes, but her feet sliding. You get what I'm saying? And guess what? It's good. It's good to watch, these people actually like fall in love. Of course, I listen here. I said Ace is one of my favorite characters on the season. Ace got flaws, but guess what? He's the only one out of everybody else on this show by default that's in a real relationship.
Yeah, and that's all we got.
Listen here. I'm only going to address two things because I was going to make a separate video about it, but we might as well just talk about it now. The whole Sierra video and the whole BuzzFeed thing. I'm going to start with BuzzFeed first.
Okay.
No excuse for that post. There's no apology that can actually like make that post make sense.
Yeah.
Like at all. A knuckle sandwich? Especially when we know that it's like it's a habit for the men to make the women the breakfast.
Yeah.
So Ace supposed to give Shelly a knuckle sandwich?
Yeah.
Like I really don't understand where everybody's head at. They lost.
Where's the joke?
Like it's not tongue in cheek.
No,
it's DV. You get what I'm saying? Like we're not for hitting women in general. You ain't gonna hit no black woman. You ain't gonna joke about it. You get what I'm saying? And they should be reprimanded for that for sure, because they tried to change it and then they try to put an apology and then they keep deleting it because they can't get it right.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, to me, I mean, I just feel like a lot of stuff is pushed by people having these, whether it's implicit biases or straight up racism. I really feel like Shelly and Olandria didn't deserve the amount of hate they got. I think that they were annoying at times, but just like everyone else can be annoying at times on this. But these are real people that come on here and make themselves vulnerable to all of us. And for especially a media platform to get their hands dirty in such a disgusting way, it was honestly disgusting to me. So.
And just because someone is annoying, just because a black person is annoying to other black people, doesn't mean we hate them. You never heard us wish violence on any of them and things like that. And you can't tell me who I hate. I know who I hate. And I don't hate none of these people. You get what I'm saying? So no excuse for BuzzFeed at all. And when it come down to Sierra, listen here, Sierra made a 5-minute apology video and things like that. She feels like the punishment was just and things like that. I believe, and I think you believe when like we spoke about it, was that, hey, let's start with the basics. No racial slurs. You get what I'm saying? Like no matter what community is offended and things like that, hey, let's just stop all racial slurs and things like that and let's build on that. You get what I'm saying? So I'm happy that Sierra acknowledged it. I think we need to get to a point as a community to actually be honest of what do we want from them after they give the apology. Right,
because I was, I know that I wasn't the community affected by her apology, but I felt like she gave a very sincere, like she said, accountability, response and an apology to that community. Yeah. And I don't know what else she could do. And I also think it's wild that people calling ICE on her family members.
Yeah, that's wild.
So it's just like, y'all are doing the most. It's a television show, please.
Yes.
Relax.
Go touch some grass. and that's what I mean with the whole cancel culture thing. If we want to be taken seriously and things like that and not just be outraged by things, we have to actually be honest and be like, hey, okay, Sierra got pulled out of the villa. We're happy with that. When they give an apology, we have to be able to be like, okay, thank you for the apology.
Especially if it comes across genuine.
Exactly. And guess what? It's not my place to actually see how genuine it is, because at the end of the day, you got pulled from that villa.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So you got to live with the punishment of that, but the punishment should not be a lifelong punishment to where her family is harassed, to where she's harassed and things like that. I think we just have to be honest and be like, okay, she gave the apology. What else do we want from Sierra? I honestly don't want nothing else from her, to be honest, Yeah. But let us know what y'all think. Subscribe, like, share, comment. We are so close to 9,000 subscribers. Do you have anything else to add to anything?
I do want to say with the Huda and the N-word situation.
Yes.
I didn't see the video, honestly. I know some people have asked us, like, why haven't we said anything about it? I really don't know anything about it, if I'm being honest.
She was singing a song, or she was lip-syncing a song
that
had the N-word in it. And it looked like on video that she said it and things like that.
And the thing is, I feel like if she said it, then pluck her out too. I mean, I feel like she should have got plucked for other reasons as well. But yeah, let's just not do slurs. Peacock, let's do our investigation before we cast people, so we don't have to pluck people out. But yeah, get people out who don't represent Love Island well. So
Anything else?
That's it.
Y'all be good.
Bye.